What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. This story's called Long Live Rec Sports. I used to work as one of the several supervisors in my campus recreational facility some years ago. Back in 2000, there was a referendum that passed that expanded the facility into a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art building that included an indoor track, climbing gym, indoor soccer gym, obstacle course, outdoor adventure programs, all sorts of incredible cardio equipment, among other amenities. So amazing the transformation was that our binder of applicants must have grown tenfold. Everyone wanted to work there. Before the expansion, we always had a constant issue with people not bringing their college IDs. And since it's considered a private facility, only students, staff, and alumni may use it, it was a hassle to pull up their information with the old system we had, but it was still manageable. Now that we were increasing the number of daily users, it was decided that absolutely no one would be allowed to enter the facility without a valid college ID. Everyone hated our stringent policy. From one side, you finally psych up enough to go and work out, only to be turned away if you forgot your ID. And from our staff side, they hated the confrontation. Anyhow, the hiring manager hired and exchanged students, and they were being trained on this very process, checking IDs, scanning them, and reinforcing our policies. She was finally comfortable enough to be left alone at the check-in station, and the supervisor left to do other things. She did good for the first couple of hours, but before her shift ended, we had a surprise visit. The girl stopped this group of older folks and a handful of students that didn't have IDs but wanted to come in. An older lady identified herself with her name only and explained that she only wanted to give everyone a tour of the new facility, to which the girl showed sympathy but still responded no. So the older lady sent one of the students back to the parking lot to retrieve her purse from the car. After about 10 minutes, the student finally got back, and the older lady finally pulled out her ID. It was the president of the university that was bringing members of the board and high donors to tour the place. This happened just as the director of our department, who is not involved in the hiring process at all, so the girl didn't know who he was, noticed the president in the foyer and asked the poor exchange girl to let them all pass. But she stuck adamant to the policy. The director always had a short temper and was visibly starting to get angry. It was sheer luck that the training supervisor was circling back and witnessed all this and asked the girl to please let everyone in. The president thought this was amusing and even thought it was admirable. Ever since this experience, the policy was changed to be more lax. Honestly, no one did anything wrong, and I don't see the problem with making everyone bring their ID. It's not that hard to do. Like, if you're allowed to go there, you have an ID, so I don't understand how hard it is to make sure you bring it with you, especially if you know you're gonna get turned away. Oh my god. I don't understand how anyone is at fault here, besides the people trying to go in without an ID. But anyway, OP's coworker, good job. Like, you stuck to your guns. This story's called I'm Telling Your Manager You're Stealing Boxes. This just happened as I was leaving work tonight. Some background. I work in the copy center in the local edition of a major national office supply retail chain. I don't have a car. I'm 38 and just got my learner's permit in June, realized I need my own wheels during the pandemic, and normally either walk the mile home or try to get a ride with a coworker, as most have to go past my place to get home anyway. And I always ask and never assume. My store manager and general manager is currently in the process of moving, and tonight we were leaving at the same time and I asked him for a ride home. He said it was fine and asked me to help him load some empty boxes we had saved into his pickup and to help with the move. So 6 p.m. rolls around, I clock out, put away my radio, put on my coat, and grab a cart and head to the office and start loading the boxes into it. Enter self-important Karen. What are you doing? Helping my coworker with these boxes. Mind you, my coat is open and my uniform shirt and name tag are still visible. That's stealing. You shouldn't steal boxes from another company. Background. We're literally the only store that wears red shirts for a good 30-minute drive in any direction. Our plaza also plays home to a national grocery store with a Hawaiian shirt fetish, a salon, and 3 women's clothing stores. There used to be a men's suit store, but it closed due to the pandemic. quick. I just scoff and say, whatever, and start wheeling the cart to the front. Self-important Karen follows me, and as I get to the door, general manager and the closing manager are walking up from the other side of the store, talking about general manager's upcoming move. I look to the closing cashier and cheerfully say, "See you Monday, Joe." I start out the door and self-important Karen grabs me and starts screaming about me stealing from the store. I immediately look at her and snarl, "You have 5 seconds to get your hands off of me before I call the police." Then she slaps me. Unbeknownst to everyone except the coworker who is closing my department, the town's chief of police was in the store to pick up his Christmas cards that he had ordered. When he heard her screeching, he turned to see the commotion. He saw the slap. So did my general manager, the other manager, the cashier, 3 other customers, and the store security cameras. 10 minutes later, self-important Karen is sitting on the curb in front of the store, screaming like a possessed banshee on meth with a new pair of bracelets. There's 2 town police cars and a state police cruiser with their lights flashing in the parking lot. The heroin the chief found in her purse is on the hood of his car. I heard the words distribution weight. I'm giving the chief my info, and general manager is telling him to take my statement tomorrow when I am back on the clock. I am now waiting for my dinner to arrive from the local pizza joint and Cyberpunk 2077 to finish installing on my PC. Honey! Just finished giving my statement to the police. She's been charged with assault, possession with intent to distribute, driving on a suspended license, her car was in the lot, and hers were the only fingerprints found inside, and also had a warrant out for failing to meet with her probation officer. Enjoying Cyberpunk 2077 so far, and my dinner of a steak bomb, a cheesesteak with peppers, mushrooms, onions, and salami, it's a thing here in New England, and fries was excellent. It sounds like a lot going on in that sandwich, but holy cow, I want it. But dang, the dominoes that had to fall for Karen to get busted that night. She just couldn't keep her freaking stupidity to herself, man. And I'm not just talking about her heroin. Cyberpunk 2077. I had it pre-ordered when I was getting a PS5, and then horrible tragedy struck, and I'm not getting Cyberpunk 2077 on the PS5 that I don't have. But I heard it's not that great. But I don't care. I'm gonna get it anyway as soon as I get a PS5. Woo! Alright, this story's called You Want to Be Arrested Now, or Should I Wait You Notice the Error Here? Hello, so this happened yesterday, and it was fun to write a story here. Yep, this is the guy of the free fries of IDoWorkHereLady. So, for this time, it's the opposite, and this is a fun/painful story. Context. My job is a no-stop shop. Even with the Brovid thing, we have to go and make our 40 hours to have the payment, or to get paid. And yesterday, I was on my daily shift when I met the Kevin. Now, I don't know if Kevin is a male Karen, but I saw somewhere that Kevin is an idiot like a Karen. And when I was a little teen, I suffered bullying from a guy named Kevin. And this is personal. I was on my shift as normal when Kevin entered the room. He was a small guy with a beer belly, or so-called barriga. G sometimes doesn't make a sound, or usually doesn't make a sound in Spanish, I think. So, barriga de cerveja. Barriga de cerveja is a belly who is fat like a ball, but not so fat. In the rage of a god, he started to yell, I don't know what the hell that says. Someone will take my friggin' testimony! So, I was about to ignore the guy and fill my bottle with water when he saw me, and this friendly conversation happened. Is this Spanish or Portuguese? Oh man, I look stupid right now, don't I? Hey, is nobody working right now? Sorry, but I don't think you're in the right place. For those who don't know, the federal police here don't take testimony for small cases like theft or something. We work on the interest of the union, things like corrupt politicians and big fish in drug trafficking. We don't work like the military police. Here we have 3 types of officers. The civil officer, who investigates cases of murder and types like that. The military, who take care of small trafficking of drugs, robbery, and, if needed, combat with firearms. And then there's the federal police, for which I work. Dude, who are you to say to me if I'm in the wrong or the right place? A police officer? Like, what the hell would I be doing here? The Kevin got mad. I really think he just can't believe a young guy, I'm just 25 years old, was working in such a place like that. I mean, the salary is $11,000 a month. We arrest important people like an ex-president, a congressperson, and the way you get in is super hard. Since I was 16, I studied and studied to be here, and I failed 3 times before I got in as an agent. And the guy, by the way he talked, Brazil has this thing, the way you talk, you tell so much about your creation and lifestyle. He was a big guy. Later I find out he was a medic. You're a brat! You're not old enough to work here! I'm starting to get annoyed. Sir, first of all, the age to be here is 18 years old. Second, I studied really hard to be here today. And third, this is not the military police. If you have a complaint to do, go to the DP on insert street name here. What? You don't work here? Stop lying to me, you piece of trash, and go away before I call a real officer. And here I just lost it. Okay, now listen, you douchebag mother lover. You get your fat ass out of this police station, or I will arrest you for disrespecting the authority here and now. Kevin got mad, like crazy as hell. He grabs a bottle of water and hit my head with that. Now, before you go asking, it was a metal bottle. Not too heavy, but it still hurt. My first thought was, I'm gonna kill this guy. But then I remembered what my girlfriend taught me. Take deep breaths and try to stay calm, and that was what I did. But not before I scream, what the hell? Really loud. That takes a couple of guys off the reunion they were making to see what was going on. Then, still with my hand on my head, I look at the guy and say, do you want to be arrested now, or should I wait until you notice the error here? To be fair, the real thing was Portuguese, 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 censored Portuguese, 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 censored Portuguese, Portuguese, and that translates to, want to be arrested now, or should I wait for your crap for brains to notice how fricked you are? Or I should say, how screwed you are. Then one of the guys takes him by his hands and just yeets that guy to the ground. It was so fast I heard the loud slap of his belly hitting the floor. He started screaming how I was faking being a cop and how I should be arrested for it. Then, when one of them confirmed I was an officer, he turned pale and started to complain about that. Well, I'm okay. The bottle was hard, but still now gave me a cushion. But I still have a rooster. Nothing of free fries this time. I'm assuming that's a reference to the last post. And now I was talking to my girlfriend. She loved all the comments of the previous post, and she says, thank you folks for making her laugh with some of the things there. And she asked me, why didn't you just pull out your badge? And God, I'm an idiot for not doing that before, but you didn't do it at all, so doing that. I laugh now, but still hurt a little when I laugh. But yeah, I'm a moron when angry. Everyone's a moron when they're angry. It's pretty common, so don't worry too much. However, you are in a position of authority, so that definitely should be something you work on, because, you know, you wouldn't want to abuse that authority and in turn abuse others. Alright, this story's called Karen Tells Me I'm Not the Person She Hired. This happened a few years back when I was 13. I was the only babysitter in my town that had taken the course to be a licensed babysitter. It's basic first aid, and so naturally I get the most customers. One day I was hired by the husband of the Karen. Let's call him Karen's husband. So when I came to their house, I could instantly feel the tension. Apparently Karen's husband showed my photo to Karen. And it was an older one. I was 10 in the photo, so of course I looked different. Anyway, she started screaming at me for being a fraud. Keep in mind, I'm only 13, and demanded I show her the text between her husband and I, so I happily go along with it. I didn't like fighting, and still don't. When she saw it, then she thought I was her husband's mistress, apparently. He has been cheating, but I mean, who wouldn't? Oh jeez. When I tell her my age, she doesn't believe me. I did look old for my age. I was 5'7" and looked older, but I can see why. Our text didn't talk about a kid or babysitting, just a time and place. Anyway, I then leave their house to call my dad because I was scared and about to cry. When my dad gets there, the Karen shuts up and is scared. My dad is a big guy, 6'5" and has a scary aura. My dad explained the situation to her, but she called the cops. I don't know why either. When the cops showed up, she plays the victim like she didn't cause this. My dad took my side and so did the husband. The police quickly realized what happened and gave her a warning. But because the Karen called her husband a child predator, an investigation had to be done. To make a long story short, they are no longer together. Karen can only see her kids with the supervisor, and I still babysit for him. She was also allegedly abusive and tried to get her husband in jail more than once. Also, sorry for the grammar, English isn't my first language. Jeez, she needs to see a freaking therapist or something. Get her in rehab. Something's going on, man. Alright, this story's called Too Short to Be Taken Seriously. My entire early life. Junior high, elementary school, first bit of high school maybe, I don't know. When I was 12 to 13 or so, I decided to be a volunteer at a school event with one of my friends who is 2 weeks older than me and quite a lot taller. I don't quite remember what the event was or what we were doing, but I do remember that a lady came up to our booth and I tried to help her. She responded, "Maybe someone a little bit older should do that," and then proceeded to talk to my friend instead. I didn't know how to respond because my friend was technically a little bit older than I, but not by much. My friend helped the lady and I complained to my parents later. That's funny as hell. You just sat there. I can't imagine the look on your face. You're just like, I mean, oh, that's hilarious, man. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.